I made portraits for a living, detailed, lifelike, the kind that made families cry when they saw them finished. I painted for the wealthy, the grieving, anyone who wanted a piece of themselves preserved on canvas. One morning, a small parcel arrived at my studio. No note, no sender. Inside was a brush, old, beautifully crafted, the handle carved with delicate swirling lines that caught the light. The bristles were soft and perfectly shaped. It felt like a gift. I used it that same day. The portraits turned out better than anything I'd ever painted. Smooth, precise, alive. I sent them out that evening, a dozen finished commissions, all flawless. I remember washing my hands and thinking that maybe, finally, I'd found my perfect tool. I had no reason to think anything was wrong. Not yet. The first call came the next morning. A client said their portrait looked off. When I asked what they meant, they couldn't explain. Only that the face seemed to be disappearing. Within hours, more calls followed. All said the same thing. The faces are fading. I couldn't understand how. The paints were high quality, my process meticulous. Still, I told them to send the portraits back to me. I needed to see for myself. By evening, several of the paintings had arrived. Every single one was perfect in color, composition, texture, except for the faces. They were gone, not smudged or damaged, just missing. Smooth patches of blank canvas where features should have been. I thought maybe the primer reacted poorly with the varnish or that moisture had lifted the pigment. It had to be something technical. I refused to believe it was anything else. So I stopped all new commissions until I could fix them. I told every affected client I'd repair the paintings myself and return them free of charge. I had no idea that calling them back would be the worst mistake I'd ever make. I started work on the first portrait. I used new paints, a new canvas, and a different brush entirely. I used the original photo as reference, careful with every detail. When I was done, it looked perfect again. I waited overnight just to be sure. The next morning, it was still fine. Relief washed over me. I repainted the rest one by one, feeling hope return. Afterward, I began calling clients to return their portraits. The first number I dialed, a woman answered, her voice trembling. Her husband, the man I'd painted, had died that morning. Their dog had attacked him, tearing off his face. I froze. I called the others. Every one of them dead. Accidents, violence, inexplicable incidents, each one missing their face. The authorities found nothing unusual, but I knew. It didn't matter that I'd repainted their portraits with different tools. The damage was already done. The first time I'd painted them, with that brush, I had given it everything it needed, and it took them. I stopped painting altogether. I threw away every can of paint, every canvas, every easel. I couldn't bring myself to destroy the ancient brush, though. I don't know why. Maybe guilt, maybe awe, maybe something else. I wrapped it in cloth, sealed it inside a wooden box, and stored it in the basement beneath stacks of old supplies. Then I locked the door. Days passed quietly. The studio was still, empty, peaceful. I started to think maybe that was the end of it, that whatever I'd unleashed was satisfied. But there's something about silence that never lasts. Every night, I'd catch myself listening, waiting for something I couldn't name. Once or twice, I dreamed of the clients' faces, not gone, but unfinished. Half there, like they were still waiting for me to finish the job. I don't remember why I went down there. The basement smelled of oil and damp concrete. Sharp, metallic, recent. But I hadn't been there in weeks. When I turned on the light, my breath caught. The walls were covered, dozens of portraits painted directly onto the concrete. Faces of men and women, strangers, everyone detailed, alive, perfect. The brushwork was mine. The layering, the highlights, all unmistakably mine. I stepped closer, fingers trembling over the dry paint. None of them were familiar. Not one. For a moment, I felt my knees weaken. Did I do these unconsciously? Did I come down here in my sleep? The thought settled in my chest like ice. I looked around slowly, scanning the faces, until one of them stopped me. Near the corner of the wall, painted just like the rest, was me. Only half of my face was there, finished with the same precision, the same smooth blending. And the rest of the wall was bare. Below it, on the floor, lay the ancient brush, its bristles slick with fresh red paint. I didn't touch it. I didn't move. I just stood there, staring at that half-painted face, waiting to see if the brush would start moving again.
Our voyage has reached its end, yet the sea still whispers of shadows unseen. Remember, sailor, every ending is but the beginning of another tale. We shall meet again.